Welcome back to SportingNewsCT.com. We're at halftime at Tom Fujitani Field on the campus of Wilton High School, where the Wilton Warriors are trailing the St. Joseph Cadets 19-14. We're honored to be joined in the halftime studio by the head coach of the Trumbull Golden Eagles, Bob Maffei. Coach, welcome aboard. And you're here, I'm sure, scouting St. Joseph. It's your annual rivalry game, Thanksgiving morning, and you know, a team that's having a very good year. And so far, what are your impressions of the St. Joseph team and the athletes they have on this team, so to speak?
They're certainly for real. I tell you, we're going to have our hands full on Thanksgiving. We always have our hands full on Thanksgiving. It's such a rivalry, and it doesn't matter what the records are. Throw them out. It's a great game.
Yeah, Coach, I don't know, it's a very different offense that Wilton plays than what you play, but St. Joseph came up with a couple of stops in the second quarter. Wilton got a couple of touchdowns, and St. Joseph really managed to tighten things up the middle. Now, of course, Wilton runs that triple option offense. It's not the same as what you run, but you're, of course, specialized very much in getting up the middle. You're starting to see some things that St. Joseph do that's going to cause you some problems as far as moving the football.
Well, you know, we're going to spread them out a lot more than Wilton, but you know, Wilton's offense is like no, we can be patient. It's going to work. It's going to work. And you know, we'll play action pass there. From the free safety back there, you know, you're proud in the box, and you know, it's all or nothing.
Yeah, it really is that patience. It's just a matter of you can't let that run game just lull you to sleep, because that's always there. Vinny Cannon's not a really strong quarterback, but they ran that play perfectly. I mean, do you see that a lot with teams that just kind of let down against the pass because it just doesn't come?
They have you thinking option, and all of a sudden he makes a great, the quarterback makes a great fake, and all of a sudden he's a guy 15 yards down the field all by himself. So, you know, you have to read your keys. That's the bottom line. You can't get locked into defensive backs have to read their keys.
One thing that surprised me, it was at this point, the turning point of this game, after that 62-yard touchdown pass to Kyle Sullivan, we see St. Joseph come right back on that 88-yard kickoff return, and Garino was barely touched. What happened with the Warriors on that play? What was the breakdown?
The kickoff, they said it was, I think it was Joey Baccarella that broke the kickoff.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's correct.
It was a wall right, he set a beautiful wall, and he got behind the wall, one guy got behind the wall, and off to the races.
Kind of thing that you're going to have to worry about a lot from this St. Joseph?
We're going to worry about a lot of things. First, we've got to worry about West Hill tomorrow before we worry about St. Joseph.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that. Your next opponent, West Hill, which is one of those teams like Wilton St. Joseph you haven't heard much from the last couple of years, and seem to be starting to move a little bit forward.
They certainly are on the rise. They have a real shifty running back. Danny, I can't pronounce his last name. It starts with a B, but he's number 2. We know what number he is. We know who he is. And TJ Hickey is a great athlete and good player. Once he gets on a roll, you know, you're in for a long afternoon. So, you know, we have our hands full again. I mean, the FCX is very competitive. You know, you got to show up every week. You don't show up every week, you get beat.
Speaking of great athletes, you've got one that missed a few of your games at the beginning of the season, talking about Richie Edwards, who was out with that ankle injury, and I got my first chance to see him, other than 2 or 3 plays he played in week 1 against New Canaan when he really wasn't ready to go. Yeah, but he certainly looked ready against Central 2 weeks ago. It's a game that you ultimately lost, but he really made some big plays, had an interception, had a big punt return. Just tell me about the lift that this young man's given you.
We are you know, finally getting, I think the first game Richie played was our game against Cathedral, Catholic Memorial from Boston there. You know, he really gives the kids a shot in the arm. You know, you saw him coming on the field knowing he's going to play. The kids are yelling, Booby Miles, you're back. You know? So gives us a real lift. And you know, we have some good running backs. You know, Dane Uzar has carried us, and you know, we've had a lot of injuries. You know, Vinny Pappas got hurt. He was carrying us against Stanford. So it's been like I told the team today, you know, through all the adversity we have with injuries and things, you know, you should be proud of where we're at right now. You know, we're finally getting people back healthy. We haven't had a first team, you know, the kids that were supposed to start from the beginning all year.
Yeah, last time you and I talked was right before the Central game, and you started listing guys that were a little bit banged up, and all of a sudden that list just got longer and longer. I mean, have you ever had a season like this where it just seems like so many guys have bumped
into little tweak things, you know, that can keep you out for 2 weeks, like a high ankle sprain, a shoulder, you know, a tweak of the hamstring, you know, these little things, a shoulder. So, you know, it's part of the game. You know, some years we get around skate, you know, and, you know, it's part of the game, the kids understand it, but, you know, the good thing is we have kids coming off the bench are stepping up and playing very well for us, so that's a good thing for next year. So the younger kids are stepping up and show what they have.
I did want to talk to you a little bit about that. We're talking with Trumbull High School head coach Bob Maffei at halftime of Wilton and St. Joseph. And coach, you've got a starting quarterback who's a junior. You've got Richie Edwards, who's kind of a do-everything guy, who's a junior. You've got Jeff John, a sophomore, who's really come in and been a spark for you, doing things on special teams and in the running game. Just tell me about the future for Trumbull. It's a program with so much history. It's really one of the power programs and won the FCI championship 2 years ago. Are you about to get back, do you think, to that same level?
Oh, we hope to. I mean, it depends how hard we work this winter. You know, the sophomore class is a very talented class, and if they come and really work hard this winter in the weight room and get the job done, who knows? I mean, we have a good nucleus finally coming back. We know after the 2005 season we lost everyone, and basically we played a whole senior team last year. We were seniors last year with no experience, and we're pleased with how we came out. But this year, we're young and green again. But we're doing okay. We're going to be okay.
One of those seniors from last year that came in was your starting quarterback, of course, is your son Bobby. And I know Tim Parry here is filming this for his FCI football blog, so the video viewers can see the Nebraska hat on Coach Maffei's head. That your son Bobby is out at the University of Nebraska, not playing, but he's a manager of the football team, and he's really kind of learning there at the knees of some great coaches out there. Bill Callahan, who spent time in the NFL, is now the head coach of Nebraska. And first of all, there's been a lot of talk about things that were shaken up in Nebraska. The athletic director was fired, Tom Osborne stepped back in, and there's concern about the future of Callahan. How is your son in handling all that? Of course, it's got to be a little easier for being a manager not being a player under those circumstances, but how's he dealing with that?
Well, number one, he's working with the wide receiver coach, Ted Gilmore, who's a team coach. He's an awesome coach, an awesome guy. He's my son. And Bill Callahan has been wonderful about it. He's taken him under his wing, and I can't say anything. Everything has been great for my son. He's living on a scholarship out there. Learning to trade, and he's working with Nick Holtz, who's the video crew, and he's breaking down to learn how to break down tape and things. He wants to be a college football coach. He's in the right spot. Nothing's going to be decided with the Nebraska coaching staff until after this year.
There's been a lot written in the last couple of years with some of this new breed of coaches in both college and the NFL, people who are not playing college football but have really just gone to college to learn how to coach, which is what your son is doing. Belichick played in college, but he was always really learning how to coach. Eric Mangini, Charlie Weisgast didn't play college football. You like the direction that your son has chosen? Because maybe he could have gone somewhere else.
It was totally up to him. He's loved Nebraska ever since Scott Frost and all those days. He's been following Nebraska all his life. He loves it, and it's a dream come true. And he wants to be a college football coach. And that's his dream, and he's fulfilling it right now, learning to trade.
Gotta be nice for him.
The best.
Gotta be nice for him to be in that sea of red. It's just I know Nebraska's not having the year they would like, but boy, they still really packed that stadium with great fans.
I haven't gotten to see a game yet, but next Friday I'm heading out there because we're playing our Ludlow game on Thursday. So I'll be out to the Kansas State game. I can't wait. I haven't seen my son since July.
Well, Coach, we wish you a lot of luck, and for the rest of this season with West Hill tomorrow, and of course St. Joe on Thanksgiving, and of course best of luck to Bobby out in Nebraska.
Great looking chop.
All right. Thanks a lot. Coach Bob.